Hey guys, here's just a quick Blitz game I want to share for fun, and it has a really cool ending, I think. So if you're just looking for a quick chess video just to wind down and enjoy watching, this could be good. So we've got e4, c5 Sicilian, bishop to e2, knight c6, and then f4. This is my Grand Prix variation. And knight to f3, this is all normal for me. Knight to f6 and d3, protecting the e4 pawn because the knight's come out attacking it. And now e5 and white castles, black develops a bishop, and I push my pawn up to f5, really gaining some space on the king side now. Reducing options for this bishop, now can't go there. And maybe constraining the ideas of pawn pushes maybe on there. So black goes ahead anyway and pushes g6. I capture and we have captures. So castling king side now isn't looking very likely for black, but also he's moved the c pawn, so there's quite a lot of space around if the king ends up going to c8 as well. So where's black going to castle? So I bring out my second knight. Black brings out his last bishop, and now I come in with an attack against the bishop. So instead of proceeding to complete development, bringing my bishop out, I think that tactically attacking this bishop makes sense. It's improving my knight's position, for one thing. If I can get my knight onto there, that's wonderful. But knight on the 5th rank is cool. It's also opening up possibilities for my rook now that I don't have an f pawn, and I can carry on with my development shortly. So the bishop retreats, and now I just move my knight back. So in a way I've lost a little bit of time there for very little benefit. Now the queen comes up to b6, so my bishop is kind of tied to the defense of the b2 pawn now. So I just move my rook across to defend the pawn. Knight comes in, and now bishop to e3, knight captures bishop, queen captures knight. So now we've both completed development. We are on move 14 now. And knight comes in, attacking the other bishop. And now I'd throw my knight into this gorgeous pocket here on d5, hitting the queen and the dark squared bishop. So the queen goes back to d8, because otherwise if I'd captured that bishop, the king would have had to have moved and lose any ability to castle. Not that it's very likely. h3 kicks the knight, knight captures the bishop, queen captures the knight. Now bishop back to f8. So maybe the bishop's coming round to here. Who knows? And now I decide to maneuver my knight around. The f7 pawn is a nice target, so I'm taking my knight out of harm's way there. Maybe with ideas of bringing it back in to here later on with a check, that would be great. Rook comes across to c8, now queen to f3, so that's the point of the knight getting out of the way. I now have a threat of mate in 1 with queen takes f7. Bishop comes in, attacking the knight and also defending f7, decent move. And now the knight goes in with a check against the king. So clearly queen can't capture, king has to move, that's the only option. And now I bring in my second knight. Rook comes in, not with much of an attacking idea. I mean, the rook's not really going to exchange itself for a knight. Or even if bishop takes, pawn takes, rook's not going to take the pawn either. So I'm not quite sure why black played that move. And now we have another threat of the queen coming in now to f6. So knight to d5 comes with check. Bishop pretty much is forced to take, and pawn recaptures. Now f5 is pushed. So what I realise is actually it looks like it's a threat against my knight. However, if pawn takes knight, I've got queen f7 checkmate. The king has nowhere to go. So the pawn cannot capture there. So the queen now comes around again to pay her attentions to b2. I'm not too concerned about that. I'm just going to... what am I doing with this knight here now? There must be some kind of plan. Okay, so rook comes across attacking the queen. Queen moves to one side. bishop moves, and now, yeah, at this point I could have actually, I didn't realise it straight away, I could have just captured the rook because its defender is pinned against the king, right? But I dodged out the way, then I realised that I could have just captured, and then I capture the rook, queen captures pawn, queen goes in with check, king moves out the way, and now we hit the queen. Black now counterattacks my queen. So we have an exchange of queens, and now I capture b7 with check. And king to f6. This is actually not a good move. This is a blunder, because white actually has now mate in 1. And I didn't realise it until I played the move. In fact, I grabbed the pawn once, then the rook comes across and bang. Knight to g4, look at this. So this whole 7th rank here is covered. The king's in check, and this pawn is covering the e6 square. So another just really surprising, fun checkmate there. Yeah, very enjoyable game. A few little tactics in there. Just thought you might enjoy it. I enjoyed it, and lovely finish. Just thought I'd share. Thanks for watching. See you later.